ask you, here are my issues with the Philippines so far. One, it's really difficult to get people in the Philippines to work US hours, probably because they do have such a strong emphasis on family. Do you just hurdle that, or how do you deal with it?
Yeah, so we will only hire someone to work US hours if they've worked it before with success. We don't want to be their trial to work US hours for the first time. That usually doesn't go well. But the BPO industry is big in the Philippines. A lot of that is working US hours. So you will find a lot of people that do it. I also like to create hybrids if possible. Like with FreeUp, we had 24/7 customer service. So we would try to do overlaps where someone would work till noon and then someone else would come on noon and work the rest to the nighttime. So we'll do a lot of hybrids like that to try to ease into it. But in situations that we need someone on US hours, we definitely want to make sure they've done it before for years and are really okay with it. And to kind of get into onboarding, when we set expectations, we let people know what the schedule is and give them a chance to back out, make sure they're 100% good with it and let them know, hey, you can't get all trained up and then come to me and tell me the schedule doesn't work. You're not going to have a job anymore. Like this job only works with the schedule. If that's the case, sometimes that's not the case and you have more flexibility there.
Second question, the Filipino culture, in my own personal experience, has a tough time with constructive criticism or communication. So I had a young lady who still works for me. Her name is Angelia. She's one of my favorite hires of all time. She's our onboarding manager. She's efficient, thoughtful, careful, smart, brilliant. And one day we found out that Angelia was doing the job of two people because we hired Angelia to do onboarding and we started to explode. And she just, it was you during Black Friday in your 20s, but Black Friday never ended. And she never told us. She was just like, oh, this is the expectation, I guess. And so, she's breaking her back. And I don't even know how it came to light. I know she didn't complain, but all of a sudden it was like, oh, dear God, Angelia needs help. How do you deal with she should have raised her hand and said, hey, this is, and so that's one half of the issue. The other half of the issue is if I ever do have to offer critical or constructive criticism, I notice that it lands so heavy. It's just like catastrophically damaging in a lot of ways. So what are you doing about the communication piece?
Yeah. So here's my tip. And there's more after that. Like they don't, a lot of times they don't want to speak up. They don't want to give feedback, take feedback. If they're managing other people, they'll be a little scared to do that. So for us, those initial hires that you make are so important because if you can get those initial hires to become leaders and to buy into feedback and criticism is good and speaking up and all of that, then any new person that comes into your company, you with the veteran that's been there that knows how things are done, and they'll kind of get that new person in line, for lack of a better word, doing things the way that you want. So that's kind of how we approach it. A lot of it's repetition at meetings. We have our 5 company values, and part of it is speaking up and don't be a hero and stuff like that. And we'll do these $1 questions where we'll quiz people on what the company values are. So we'll get people to just repeat it over and over in their mind, speak up, give feedback, stuff like that. And I guess my last tip, because a lot of people in the US come across, I guess, harsher than maybe they intended when they're giving criticism, use emojis. They love emojis. So if I'm starting a conversation, I'm like, hey, Anna, like, smiley face, what's going on? I got one quick thing for you. And for some reason that comes across way better than, hey, Anna, here's something they did wrong. I need you to do it better. And that small thing where they can see, hey, you're not pissed off, you're not angry, you're all on the same side. That goes a long way.